Oh, wait for me, wait for me, wait for me. God damn it. Shit. Why isn't she off the leash, they say? Because there's elk all over the place. That's why. I don't need her getting shot either. That's some psycho. Oh look, there's paradise down below. How exciting is that? Okay, Bubs, don't be wiping out, all right? Let's go. Keep going. Keep going. Oh, shit. Hey, 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 wait. Okay, wait for me. Wait for me. All right. Hold on a minute. We're gonna do this. Wait, wait. Okay. Let's try that maybe. Let's go. Don't you fall. Oh no. Hold on. Hold on. Wait, 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 wait. Oh shit. Whoa. Wait for me. Wait up. Come on. Ruby. Wait. 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 Oh man. Somebody's got to bring chainsaw here. Hey? Don't go in that hole. Nope, nope. 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 Come here. Come on, you son of a bee. Okay, let's go. Keep going. Wait. Wait for me. Wait. Oh, son of a bitch. All right. No broken legs. Not yet till she launches me off of here. Okay, wait for me. Yay, we did it. Holy shit. Come on. This way. This way, Bubs. Good girl. This way. Elk tracks. Crazy. Guess the elk love to go up and see the falls. Huh. Human tracks. Yep, elk tracks. Look at that, eh, Bubs? Let's take a look. Oh, look at that, hey? Look at that, Babaloo. there we go. That feels pretty good. That was definitely a morning. Oh, not a fish. Not a fish. I'll move that camera up. I don't know how the mic is on. Oh, that feels good. That feels good to finally sit down. Me and Adventure Dog got up and out of the house at a little after 5 this morning and went steelhead fishing, and we sucked. It's fun, but the second time out, first time skunked. But here's a funny one, not a funny one, but we had to go up. I'll show you the video. I guess, well, you would have seen the video of us hiking down already, right? Straight down. And somebody put a long line there. But that line would normally be used for like crab traps or halibut line, you know? Long line. Some kind person put that string of line down there years ago to help get you down without breaking your neck and up. And when you go to, because the other road, you can drive up above those falls normally, but the road's all washed out. Nobody will ever get up there again unless they log up there and fix it. So, but there is another route where you gotta drive an old deactivated road, park, hike downhill, down straight down through the slash, and then straight down through the timber, and then boom, you hit the river and you walk up. And typically with anglers, especially river fishing, I mean, if you're walking in from shore, not drifting, which nobody can drift the river now, it's like angler etiquette. There's somebody parked right there, they're fishing that hole. And I wouldn't go down there. Somebody's already parked there. I don't do that myself, but all of a sudden, and what I do is I'll tie Ruby's lead. There's elk all over the place here, and she's a chaser. There's no way getting out of it right now. And she explodes when somebody's coming. Holy shit. And here comes this dude out of frickin' nowhere. And a weird looking dude. No fishing gear, no nothing. Kind of boots on and an accent. And I go up to Ruby and she's going nuts. And he starts coming up to us like, is she good? Is she good? And I go, not good for you. I go, she's good, but not good for you. And she'll be good if you're good. Oh, and then he tried reaching out for her still, and she backed up like that. It's almost like a boxer pulling your upper body back, getting him in range to frickin' shred him. Maybe, I don't know, but I go, that's probably not a good idea, man. I got no problems with it. Out here, that's why I've got her here, to give me the heads up, right? Especially after some of the shit that's been going down lately, the theme on the channel of talking about weird people and home invasions and all that shit. I don't mind if she's absolutely aggressive and ferocious in the middle of nowhere with a strange dude walking up to me. Doing her job. So anyway, there you go. That's what went down this morning. The main logging road's out there. About 400 meters, you can hear it the odd time. So, let's get into it, shall we? There's still a kabillion zillion people waiting to be heard. There always will be. Dear Steve, I was watching the other day and totally agree that if the Vatican got involved, shutting that doctor who was doing the DNA on the Sabe down, then it is definitely a spiritual war. Or they know a lot more, like all the history they've got hidden away and have done for years and years. I'm a Catholic myself, Steve, but not a pedo bastard like half of them. I think God would be fuming the way they've carried on over the years, suppressing everything and taking money of people. Jesus would definitely not be happy, Steve, but I 100% know he would be happy with you and Sarah, Steve. I'm a bit of a godhead, Steve, and I now think my puzzle is 90% done and totally agree with you, Steve, on everything. Just a few things left that I don't think we'll ever know. I now know enough for myself. God bless you and Sarah. You're a top fella, and I'd love to have a pint with you, so if you're ever in England, text me. Best Sabe show on YouTube by miles. Like you say, the truth always wins. God bless. Steve John Boy. That's a kind email. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that big time. Yeah, the good old Vatican, huh?
I was talking about the old Vatican the other day with somebody, and I was using a bit of a example comparison. I said, imagine if I employed a bunch of people right now. I had a handful of dudes working for me, and real prominent business. You know, everybody knew my name. Like lots of people with maybe even millions of customers. And all of a sudden, oh man, 3 of my close friends and employees went and sexually molested some children again. Damn, you dummies. I told you not to get caught. Like, what are they actually saying in the Vatican? Come on, I told you I'll transfer you back from that country over to Italy for a while, okay? We'll get you a brand new multi-million-dollar place here. Now, don't do it again. At least, if you're gonna do it, just don't get caught, alright? Pick the right victims. Right? Imagine if I was doing that. How long would it take for me to be strung up? How long would it take for me to be basically lit on fire? Not long. It's so bizarre, the evil in our faces, and we walk around like stooges. Huh? What's that? That bishop dude, or where you want to call him? Cardinal, bishop, whatever you call these idiots. He went and sexually molested some more children again? Ah, shit. Alright, well, let's ship him over to the UK this time, and hopefully he doesn't get caught again. That's what they do, every single time. And all of us don't do shit about it. Holy shit. Alright, I'll bite my lip. I'll bite it for a little bit. You asked me a question. I did. That's the title of this email. Good morning, Steve. You may not recall my first email. I'm the female police officer retired from Michigan who was chased in my car. My name is Suzette Randall. I'm not ashamed of my experience, so you can use it. My name, that is. I've been wanting to respond, but life intervened with the arrival of 4 horses rescued from kill lots around the country. How good for you. That's another story. Quick background, I'm 71 now and spry as hell, even with my disabilities. I live on a 10-acre homestead in far northeastern Michigan. My acres are just a pinprick within thousands of acres of woodland, cedar swamps, lakes, rivers, and streams. We have wonderful diversity of flora and fauna. Even critters the DNR denies exist in Michigan. The latest critter I saw was by accident while looking for my dog. I was breaking the law by driving down a power line road, and I didn't care. We're talking about my dog. When I got to the point where the power line entered a few backyards, I stopped. People around here are particular about strange four-wheelers riding their property, and I wasn't looking to get shot at. Still, I sat in my truck looking around until I saw something big and black making its way down an ancient fence line. Very overgrown. Big, black, and moving slowly. My brain questioned me. Bear? Nope, not bear. I knew I was leaning forward trying to make sense of what I was seeing, and then I saw the tail. What? It was no shit at least 4 feet long. Bears don't have long tails, but big cats do, and I don't mean kitty kitty. I was looking at a black cougar/panther. It was beautiful and stealthy. And according to DNR, I was seeing things. I agreed I was seeing things. A black frickin' cougar. Then it turned east and disappeared into the underbrush. East was where my house sits. Now, I too headed east, quickly, my dog presumably between me and the house as well. I found him safe. Ooh, lucky. I haven't seen it since, but I know it's out there. A neighbor has a trail cam pic of a fawn-colored cougar that also doesn't live in Michigan. Ask yourself, why does the DNR continue to lie? What's the point? I believe it's all connected. Predator, denial, Sabe too. They are on my property. Not constantly. More like a migratory timetable. When they're here, I know it. The entire feeling of my woods changes. It's not subtle, it's a feeling that will tighten your guts. It's not a friendly, inviting feeling. It feels like a warning. I've listened to my internal alarm system all my life. It's served me well. But having said that, it pisses me off that these people think they can push me out of my little slice of heaven. I've told them so when I feel they're here. My backyard rises to overlook my land, and it's a great place to make announcements, which I do from time to time. I let them know that I am a protector. I will protect what lives here, from deer to my barn cats to my horses, and they will be held accountable should they harm anything. I'll make announcements with my Smith & Wesson AR slung and Glock 40 on my hip. I've heard growls, whoops, and whistles, occasionally a tree knock, and nighttime screams that are disconcerting to say the least. I have footprints behind my house in the snow, at my bedroom window. I have a large nest about a half-mile west of my front door. It isn't easy getting to it. The undergrowth is thick, making it hard to walk and leg-breaking for a horse, so I have to walk. When the snow melts, I'll go grab a photo of it. A word of explanation. I'm alone here. I'm a widow since 2009 and the last of my family. My mom passed in 2021. There's only one other family on my road, a husband and a wife. He's a trucker, so most often it's just two of us ladies. I think she's around 60. Without telling her why, I let her know if she ever feels frightened for no apparent reason to call me, and I'll be there in a heartbeat loaded for bear. Not that I think I'm some badass, I'm just not going to tolerate any form of bullying. My protector side rears its head. My police mind jumps to the fore. And finally, Steve, to the question you asked me. When I was on the job, there was no policy on reporting Bigfoot sightings. The area where I did my policing was along the East Coast, and I haven't heard reports from there. So, I hope this helps someone out there. Listen to your gut feelings and always be aware of your surroundings. If you're able, state your intentions, what you will and what you won't put up with. Mean what you say, and I believe they'll understand. I'm just an old woman who won't be pushed around by anyone on/in my home. Take care, Steve. Blessings on you and your family. When you get back to the nest, I'll be sure to take some photos. I've included the pictures of footprints at my bedroom window. Is Sabe a peeping Tom, a pervert? Best wishes, Suzette. Oh, there you go. There's the photos. Outside your window, huh? Yeah, it's a little shitty. They shouldn't do that. Right? They shouldn't do that. Appreciate you big time. You're not the only police officer to have seen them. There's a lady RCMP officer. I mentioned her not too long ago on Humpback Road, South Vancouver Island. Watched three of them walk across the road in front of her car. Cruiser. There you go. You are a great member of the club. Super happy to have you aboard. Shadow Man was watching my daughter go to the bathroom. It's the title of this email. Hey Steve, hope you're doing well. My name is Daniel. Feel free to use my name. My family and I live in southern New Mexico, and we've been doing our best to go camping every year. I have 2 kids. My daughter is 11, my son is 7. We usually don't like camping around a bunch of other people in a state-regulated campground. It's noisy at night. You can't shoot stuff, and it seems wrong to pay the government to go camping. Right? No shit. I would never do that in a million years. Let's wait for that logging truck to drive by. Pay the government to go camping. Oh my god, no shit. Looks like it's gonna snow. Man, those trucks are loud, huh? Come on, get out of here. We like our privacy, so we like to camp in remote places. Anyway, last year I found a cool looking place on Google Earth about 2 hours away from our house. Shit, really? What are you doing, 1 mile an hour? I hate background sound. Sorry, you guys. We like our privacy, so we like to camp in remote places. Anyway, last year I found a cool looking place on Google Earth about 2 hours away from our house that met our campsite criteria. So, We went on a day trip to go check it out and see if we wanted to camp there in a few weeks. The location was near Kingston, New Mexico, an old mining ghost town. After miles of county dirt road, we pulled into a nice stand of trees right next to a little creek. It was a beautiful spot. There were tiger swallowtails flying around everywhere. Bright wildflowers all over the place and no other people. About 5 minutes into exploring this place, we heard a loud roar. I don't know what it was, and I thought it could have been a black bear. It made me wary, but I was armed, and I knew we weren't staying long. I tried not to make a big deal about it because I didn't want to scare the kids and have them not want to come back and camp there. And a few weeks later, we went back for a big camping trip. We were planning on staying for 2 nights. We got the camp all set up and had a pretty good first day. Before bed, I started getting the creeps, like we were being watched. My wife and I had to walk about 20 feet away from the camp to get something from the truck, and I intensely felt something watching. I hated turning my back on the darkness. I even whirled around, shining the flashlight and pointing my gun, but I never saw anything. That night, while we were in the tent, something kept tripping the motion sensor solar floodlight, but I always screw into a tree by the tent. Just like the roar we heard, scouting the site. I have no idea if the light going off through the night had anything to do with the forest people. It could have been any little creature, but it definitely added to the creep factor at the time. In the morning, we went on a little hike up the creek and did some metal detecting. Mid-morning, my wife and I were doing something at our camp, and the kids were playing with an earshot on a little cluster of boulders that my daughter was calling her house. They're probably 150 feet away from camp. And all of a sudden, my daughter came running back into camp crying and terrified. It took a little while to understand what she was saying. She said she saw a Bigfoot. She said she had propped herself up between 2 boulders to go pee. While relieving herself, she looked up the slope and standing probably 10 feet away was a tall shadow man. She said she said she looked down, then back up, and it was still there, so she knew she wasn't seeing things. It was standing there watching her pee. When I heard this, I took her by the hand and told her to take me to where she saw it. I had my Glock 17 with a 30-round mag loaded with plus P hollow points and thought I could handle whatever was there. She didn't want to go because she thought I'd get hurt, but she finally relented, still teary-eyed. Luckily, whatever it was wasn't there anymore. I looked for tracks, walked all around on high alert with goosebumps, but didn't find anything. The camping trip only lasted about 2 hours after that, as my daughter was crying and kept thinking she was seeing it again. She said she saw it another 6 times, sometimes in the distance, sometimes peeking out of a bush. We put her in the cab of the truck as we broke camp. I also questioned my son, who was playing near her, but his view of what she saw was obstructed by trees and rocks. All he knew was that Sissy came running and told him to follow. A few days later, after I'd done some research into this stuff, I asked my daughter if this creature had said anything to her. She said no, it didn't say anything. I asked again, did it say anything to you in your mind? Without hesitation, she said yes. It said things to me in my mind. She said the only thing she could remember that it told her was, run. She also admitted that the 6 times she saw it after the initial sighting could have just been because she was so freaked out, but she was sure she saw it the first time. Now, as you can imagine, she had to sleep in our bed with us for around 2 months. This happened over a year ago, and since asking her what it said, I haven't brought it back up to her because I didn't want to upset her. And just yesterday I told her that if she ever wanted to talk about what she saw camping, that she could talk to me. I told her that I believe her and she's not crazy, and she replied that she knows she's not crazy and that she just doesn't want to talk about it because it was too scary. Despite having binge-watched your readings, I haven't heard of any accounts of shadowy type tall human. She said it was a little taller than me, so I'm guessing in the range of 6'1" to 6'4". Have you heard of a shadow man-shaped creature in the forest? Have you read any accounts of forest creatures watching women go to the bathroom? She said it didn't look furry. I felt, okay, let me answer right away. We got a photo of a semi-cloaked type of being, I think two of them, standing just inside the bushes watching a woman showering. Camping in the woods. You can see it clear-ish, but you can see something huge and perfectly shaped and standing there watching her. And we got a lot of people email in about shadow persons even being in the house. So yeah, man, it's been reported quite a few times. I felt so violated, having some unknown evil thing out in the woods watch my 10-year-old daughter go into the bathroom. And to all you dads out there, keep your family close while you're out in the wild. Also, carry something larger than a 9mm. Pop-up potty tents are pretty cheap, worth keeping the forest voyeurs off your women. Steve, I heard you say that if you don't think these things want to hurt us, if they just tell you things like leave or run, or if they just scare you, you said that if they wanted to hurt you, they would. Well, that may be true. I wonder if these things do want to hurt us, but are compelled to follow some strict set of rules enforced by higher power. I have a feeling that the sinister creature that terrified my daughter and watched her go to the bathroom would have done something really bad to her if it had been able to. I'd appreciate any input or commentary you may have. Keep up the good work. Steve, you become a public enough figure that you should consider getting a subscription to pentester.com. It's a service that, among other things, scours the web for any of your personal data that could be floating around out there, such as your home address. They find the data and remove it. Really? The owner of pentester.com is a hacker that had an interview on the Sean Ryan show. He uses his hacking skills to catch pedophiles. So I don't mind giving him my money. And by the way, I don't blame you for informing all the internet weirdos that if they won't leave your property, that they won't leave your property on their feet. Yeah, right? Another truck. This next email is titled My Experience. Please don't mention my name, as I don't need any more visits from men in black. Yes, I'm on the radar. I've lived in various areas since leaving the Navy in the 1990s. New England, Virginia Mountains, Ozarks, and northern and southern Michigan. I've had experiences with Sasquatch in Craig County, Virginia, and in Macomb County, Michigan. In Virginia, my stepson and I were screamed at by something from the corner of our back 5-acre orchard and vineyard woodline at 5:30 a.m. as we walked to my Jeep November 5th, 2013. We both stopped in our tracks, and the hair on the back of my head stood straight up. Sonny Boy, being the 17-year-old smart aleck, asks me in fear, "What was that?" I simply said, "What do you think?" Get in the car. Apparently he found my answer hilarious and started laughing. That's just because he was scared. 2 years ago, I was fishing on Walcott Township Agricultural Park land on the north branch of Clinton River, May 2nd, 2023. I was quietly heel-stepping in my neoprene lacrosse boots very slowly and silent down a path to the river when I started feeling uneasy. I came to a clearing full of wildflowers, and something called out to me that sounded like a goat, but verbalized into Oriental-type language 20 yards from me. It was 5:30 a.m. Stopped, closed my eyes, and afraid to look, but I didn't feel any danger. I felt like I surprised something in the woods. I continued down to the river, but felt like I was being watched and intruding. I took a few casts and left the way back. Awkward sentences. And a jet's coming now. Kidding. I took a few casts and left the went back the way I came. Sorry. Why is that sentence killing me? I took a few casts and left. Oh, it's a typo. The way back the way I don't. All right, moving along. Sorry. Oh, I don't give up. I took a few casts and left the went back the way I came. There you go. That's how it's spelled. I have no clue what made that sound. Shortly after, I lived 40 minutes from that location. Something would throw slag at the back of my house. There is no slag near my yard, but that river where I heard the sound used to have an iron smelting factory back there in the 1800s. Activity continued through that summer. It has since stopped. But there you go. Sorry, that one sentence threw me right down the frickin' shitter for a minute there, didn't it? Alright, there you go. More club members. You definitely don't have to see something to become a member of this club, do you? Alright. Who else do we have here? Whew, holy shit. This is my, almost extremely frustrated look. ABCs, always be calm, right? So yesterday, nothing but failures. Failure after failure when I got home. And I wanted to get my video in my adventure edited up and put it in here and launch for 5 in the morning and get back on normal track. And I came home, no food, no sleep. Had the whole place take care of animals frickin' terrorizing me here at home. And for whatever reason, I couldn't get files off my GoPro. I couldn't get files off my Sony camcorder. And the last 2, I don't know how many emails yesterday, for whatever reason, the files will play on the screen here, but the last 2 files won't load onto the computer. Nothing I can do about it. I tried hooking up a cable to this camera. I've tried everything 50,000 times. Holy, it's frustrating. Anyway, so now I have to go back to replay on that internal screen on that camera to each video that to each email that I already shared yesterday and read them again right now. Holy. So there you go. That's what's going on. This whole video's been quite challenging, I'll tell you what. And to top it off, I've got about 4 loads of laundry to do, the place to clean up. Sarah's flight got canceled, so I got a couple more days solo. I got a real cool dude coming on here with me today. Don't know what time yet. Jammed right up here. Sorry for the little rant. Now let's get back to salvaging yesterday's video. Alright. This email is titled My Sighting. It's probably best to keep my name out of the story. I live in Montana. I was driving home 2 years ago, back from a city, an hour and a half from my home. We live in a very mountainous area. A small red car and a Suburban were in front of me when all of a sudden the car hit the brakes, and in turn the Suburban did also. I stopped and I saw a pure black giant being about 2 feet taller than the Suburban dart out from in front of the car. It was 104 degrees out during the summer at 4 p.m. It moved so fast that I only saw it for about 2 or 3 seconds. It was disturbingly fast. It made its way over a 15-foot embankment on the other side of the road. By the time I got to where it crossed, it was gone. I was only 40 feet at max from the creature when it crossed the road. Since then, I've asked around cautiously, and I found 5 other people who would admit they have seen the same type of creature in the same area I was at. One in particular was the exact same spot. In total, I have found 8 people that have seen one of these things on the same range of mountains. 3 of them were farther north at a specific mountain. And I was raised in the mountains. I discovered your videos only a few days ago, and what you said about how differently you pay attention now while in the woods hit me so hard. I've never been the same, even around our home at night. I still go out to the woods, but it is an entirely different experience for me now. I don't think they are primates at all. From listening to you talk, it appears your research may be in line with my own. Thank you for what you're doing. Hunt safe. All right. Thank you, too, and you hunt safe, too. Appreciate that email, man. I wonder if any of those other people driving are sitting here watching this channel as well. High probability at this stage of the game. right, here's another one. Read yesterday already. This is titled Bigfoot. I'll try to be quick and to the point. I know you're a busy guy. I will apologize now for the spelling and penmanship. And I'll apologize now for the screwed up reading. I'm 52 and have worked construction and truck driving in between jobs, so I have spent most of my life in the outdoors, not in front of a TV. I don't have internet or cable TV. I don't even own a computer. But I do own this smartphone. I only watch TV in the hospitals while recovering from a broken back, 4 surgeries, right knee, 3 surgeries, now a broken hip. But all my recoveries from surgeries is spent outdoors. My first encounter was when I was a kid in at my aunt and uncle's house. Their house is the last house on a dead-end road. The road continues on past a locked steel gate for many miles of logging country. We lived deep in the woods. While outside playing with my 2 cousins and my brother and sister, all of us were 8 to 11. My cousin Todd and I noticed this what we thought was some guy about 100 yards watching us past the gate. I didn't think much about it until my cousin said, "He's coming after us." So I looked back in his direction, and here it comes on a fast loping walk. My cousin started yelling, "Run!" So we took off toward the house, running and yelling, "Run!" to my sister, his sister, and my brother. We were only 100 yards from my uncle's log cabin. While running, I noticed rocks were landing around me as if something was throwing them at us. Then I was hit in the back of my arm with one. It did leave a big welt. We made it to my uncle's house. We piled inside so quick, all yelling about what we had seen. My aunt and mom started laughing at us, thinking it was a bear. But when my dad and uncle wanted to prove to us kids it was just a bear, we took a walk to see if we could find a track. And we had a 3-inch snow a few days earlier, so it was spotty. We did find the tracks. And I'll never forget the look on my dad and uncle's faces. They were quiet, but scared too, like I've never seen them. Now these 2 guys have taken many black bears while hunting deer. We all knew what the rear paw of a black bear was, and this was not even close. So when I realized it, my cousin did too. We shrugged our shoulders like, "What's up with these 2?" We followed it for about a quarter mile to a logging clear cut, a 10-acre mess where it went through it easily. The walking stride was long, like 5 to 6 feet. We decided to turn around and go back home. We were told not to talk about by our parents. We were at their house for Bible study that night, which we didn't have after all that. My aunt said a quick prayer and we left. Now, 41 years later, and after having 2 more encounters, my cousin Todd never wanted to hunt. My father and uncle started hunting closer to the road. They have both passed away now, but over the years I've asked them, "What do you think it was?" They told me, "I don't want to talk about it." I knew what it was, but I was hoping to learn more. I hope no one does shoot one just to see it. I think they should be left alone and not be hunted like a wild animal whose population is regulated by hunting to keep their numbers down. I've come across the wood knocking while deep in. It's not a noise that I could duplicate. I tried with a wooden bat. It was close, but a very large 30 to 40 pound rock was close too. But nowhere as fast and loud. I hope this story helps in your research, and F the naysayers and all the Joe Rogan wannabe hunters. Same goes to all the game wardens too. I've proved them wrong several times when they tell me there are no cougar or wolves in Vermont, and I've found several different snakes they say we didn't have. Thank you, James from Vermont/Common New Hampshire. Okay, man, appreciate it. Gotcha. Well, I hope it helped you too, hearing it read. And that's kind of funny. I mentioned this yesterday, but I can't get the file, and I'm going to mention it again on the secrecy of animals going places. It almost makes me laugh. How I don't understand how any human being, especially someone who has a badge or the letters DR in front of their name, how they can actually look a human being in the eye and tell them with confidence that an animal isn't here. a wild animal isn't here. Really? You psychopaths, right? I think unless you're a deranged maniac, the only other excuse that would allow your brain to do that is if you were told to tell the general public that lie. You know what I mean? It's just mind-boggling to me at times how many people do make statements like that publicly. They don't even have a clue how foolish they are screaming out loud, subtly but directly at the same time. You know, and that brings what I want to share with you guys. I just came across a whole pile of notes in my notes from when I was at a advanced wolf trapping course with these guys are tough as frickin' nails, original frickin' redneck, not redneck, but red cowboys, hunters, predator control guys from Williams Lake, the Lay family, L-A-Y. These guys are awesome. And the son and the father were teaching the course to a group of us. And their father, 3 generations, these guys have mastered live catching wolves, eliminating entire packs, live catching grizzly bears. These guys mastered how to set a trap so it springs a padded cable, steel cable, up the forearm of a grizzly bear to noose it and hold on to it. And the stories those guys have of walking up to those bears, these guys, their balls are so big they need 2 wheelbarrows each to pack them around. But anyway, getting back to what I was going to mention about the animals not being somewhere, just to give you a quick glimpse into what an animal can do in the wild and does all the time. They noted a collared wolf that went 1,000 miles in one direction. Who knows how many other wolves are with it, but this one particular collared wolf went 1,000 miles from northern BC. I think it went all the way down to Oregon. And they decided to come back. Crazy, right? But how many wild animals go on those jaunts and then throw out the anchor? I like it here. Is that amazing? That's just one easy example. I'm just saying. When you got somebody who's a so-called game warden or biologist or whatever trying to dictate to you what wild animals don't do, okay, buddy. Maybe go get a job doing construction or something, okay? Okay, I'll bite my lip. But it's not hard for me to want to go off and insult and shame those people that lie to us. Especially when it comes to wildlife and what they do. Imagine, well, actually, no, cougars don't cross state lines. They won't do it. So there's no cougars here. Just so you know. And tell your family and kids that too, that there isn't any here in this state. Holy shit, are you guys stupid. All right, sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Who's next now? Sometimes I flip it back and forth day to day. I go into my old inboxes, ziz, and then I'll glance into the new to see if anything has to mesh up with what was read yesterday or the day before. And I got some. So I'm going to read some very brand new emails here, all right? Here we go. This is titled, no subject. Good evening, Steve. I enjoy your efforts and respect you as a hunter. I am 75. I hunted all my life here in Alabama. What I have to share happened in 2021. A lady friend and I had a log cabin rented on a mountain near Whittier, North Carolina. It was a beautiful area. We got there earlier on Friday, spent the day sightseeing around Cherokee and Bryson City, North Carolina. We came back around 11 p.m. that night, and she was cooking us a little late snack in the kitchen when she heard something on the porch. I walked in there and looked out the window, but I saw nothing. And as I was walking back to the living room, we heard a deep, strong grunt, and then something was knocked over. I thought maybe a raccoon or a deer might have come up the porch. There was a nightlight on a pole outside across from the porch. She was scared and came back in there with me by the couch. Then, this huge creature came into view and was looking into the window in front of us. It had huge broad shoulders, hardly any neck, facial features like a human and an ape. Eyes were reddish in the light. We were both very scared and disturbed. My phone and pistol were laying on the lampstand, and the first thought I had was to pick the phone up and get an image. But my better sense kicked in, so I picked up my pistol. It just went on up the mountain. We made sure all the doors were locked and turned on all the lights. We didn't get any sleep all night for fear it might return. She was shook up very bad. So that Saturday morning I went out at daybreak to look around. A large flower vase had been knocked over. I saw no footprints, and I looked over the Ricky grounds by the cabin. Might have been a typo. But no prints. We put the key in the box and left to get a motel room for the rest of our weekend. Once you see that being that close, you pray you never see it again unless it's a few hundred yards away. I just want to share this with you. Thanks. There you go. Sir, I appreciate you big time, and I definitely feel for your wife. What a shitty deal to have stuffed in your face without possibly never acknowledging or having any knowledge shared with you ever before. That sucks butt, right? And that it's funny when people say, the doors and windows are locked. When meanwhile, what a false sense of security a sheer sheet of glass is. Isn't it weird how we all have that weird feeling that just a piece of glass is enough? Or doing something when it's nothing? It's like saran wrap around a sandwich. I'm not saying they're trying to eat us. I'm just saying, if anything, doesn't matter what it is. I mean, when you look in your average jewelry store or gun store has bars around all the windows because the glass won't stop a human, right? But what are we supposed to do living rurally? Put bars around all our windows now just in case the 1 in a million happens? There you go, you guys. More club members. Didn't ask for it. Didn't ask for it. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. I don't know if this video helped your wife or not, or maybe if she just wants it to go away. This channel, this channel definitely doesn't make it go away. Excuse me. All right. One more. Then I gotta get on with it. This is titled, New Boss and Our Conversation During a One-on-One Meeting. His Strange Bear Experience. Steve, first names only. I like your first name only policy unless otherwise stated. I got you, man. Your Girl Scout story from March 19th, 2025 podcast on the Round Table of Knowledge by How to Hunt has inspired me to finish this email. Okay, that's on the backup channel. How cute a Girl Scout would be told to hide and become invisible using mind speak, thinking she is hiding behind a tree while nestled down between a forest person's shins/knees/legs while playing hide and seek. This particular, quote, forest person, end quote, is a winner and understood the assignment. Your desire for truth is contagious. It is highly attractive to advanced minds. I used to prefer hearing these stories on other podcasts in the first person. The experiencer calls in and tells the story in which you can hear the emotion of the experiencer. However, this process, in my opinion, does not include the, quote, drive for truth, end quote, as found in your show. Now I can only listen to your show because I desire the truth and anything less can kiss my ass. I cannot listen to read-only podcasts that lack the diatribe to find the truth. Your diatribe to bring truth to light is the endearing quality that makes your show perfect. Yes, this is a compliment. All right, taken as so. Thank you so much. I finished all 10 episodes of the telepathy tapes, Your Truth and Kai Dickens' truth have unexpectedly landed at a crossroads of truth. Your knowledge forest people use mind speak, and Kai has clearly proven non-verbal autistic people can also mind speak. Kai uses the word telepathy. The other unexpected yet compatibility between the two storylines is the wall of denial. Both have in common from the scientific community and the educational system. both which I've kicked to the curb a while back. The telepathy tapes runs into career-ending events. If a teacher or researcher dares to come out and acknowledge non-verbal autistic people who can mind speak. Likewise, if a government employee comes clean with knowledge of forest people, it could be career-ending. How sad and yet how wonderful that two separate and distinct storylines would arrive at the same crossroad. Sad and wonderful is the classic description of the human experience, the yin and the yang. Allow me to take this one step further and declare I am willing to put down $100 that says there is a non-verbal autistic person who is regularly talking with a forest person, or the forest people are very aware of the global group chat happening among non-verbal autistic persons, which they call the Hill. It does not matter if the non-verbal lives in Europe or South America. It does not matter if the non-verbal lives in Europe or South America. They all mind speak together at a global group chat they call the Hill. This is why forest people have backup wherever they are. Forest people must have a method of global group chat similar to the Hill. Kai knows of two friends, one living in Utah, the other in Atlanta, and yet the boys have never met face to face but acknowledge they are best friends. The telepathy tapes is soon to be released as a documentary for those who cannot do another podcast type show. Everyone desiring to know the truth about Mindspeak should start with episode 1 and listen through all 10 shows in chronological order. Both Steve and Kai pursue separate yet distinct storylines, both of which the scientific and educational system would describe as hogwash. The genius of Kai is she has likened those persons as flat earthers. At this stage of the game, if you are not referring to Bigfoot as a forest person who uses Mindspeak, you might as well be a flat earther. This is a paradigm shift happening on Earth. We have materialistic science and an educational system that clings to flat earth belief system. Don't get stuck on stupid and be a flat earther because science and education denies you the truth. On to my forest person story. You realize, those flat earthers get offended real easy. What's going to happen now in the comment section? Take for what you will or leave it, you guys, right? If you blow a snap sandwich here, get yourself checked. My old boss is female and very easy on the eyes. Bracket wink wink. Sadly, she was let go during a rift. A slang for layoff. But she's landed on her feet and leads a cybersecurity organization for a small hospital system in the United States. Hence, I got a new boss. You can refer to these persons as Ben and Jeff, and this is the conversation that went down during our first one-to-one. I'm Ben. Jeff is my new boss. Here we go. Ben. You mentioned you like camping and backpacking. Ever had an odd experience while camping? Here we go. Jeff. One time I had an odd experience with a bear in Colorado. Odd experience with a bear? Please elaborate. It was really strange. I was with my ex-wife on a backpacking trip, and this bear started licking the top of our tent. Licking your tent? That's odd. Let's start from the beginning and tell me what happened. Okay. My ex-wife and I were backpacking in Colorado. We had set up camp. It was around 10 p.m. and we had just settled into the tent and we were getting cozy. Then we heard footsteps coming into our camp and someone was walking around outside. I was annoyed and I called out, "Hey man, this is our campsite. It's taken. You need to leave. I got a gun and I'll use it. Seriously, you need to get out of here." The ex-wife replies out loud, "What do you mean we've got a gun? We don't have a gun. What are you talking about?" Oh. Continued footsteps around the camp and the quote person end quote walks up to the tent and begins licking the top of the tent with a rather large tongue. I can only imagine the glare he gives his ex-wife for calling the bluff, LOL. Jeff. Seriously, man, get out of here. I have a gun. Stop licking the tent. I'm coming out and you better be gone before I get out there. The licking continues. Frustrated at the situation, Jeff is now putting on his shoes, finding his flashlight, pissed his partners called his bluff and unzipping the tent to exit. In getting ready to leave the tent, he does not remember when the licking stopped. He loudly unzips the tent, exits to find nothing there. The licking has stopped. There's nothing in the camp. He uses his flashlight and he's searching around to find the culprit. He carefully examines the surrounding area using the flashlight to shine into the forest to find the person. He circles the tent and campsite for tracks. Whatever it was is gone without a trace. He eventually returns to the tent, removes his shoes, gets undressed, and settles back into the sleeping bag. And the footsteps return, heading back into the camp. Circle the tent, and then the licking begins again. Ew. Ben, I interrupted and cut him off. Dude, that wasn't a bear, that was a Bigfoot. Jeff, I never considered that. I always thought it was a bear. Ben, Jeff, if it was a bear, you would have seen a bear when you exited the tent. Jeff, maybe you're right. I always assumed it was a bear because that made the most sense and the tongue was large. In summary, Jeff is very confident it had 2 legs and walked into camp on 2 legs and around camp on 2 legs and up to the tent on 2 legs. In his mind, this is a man, and that is why he calls out and warns him with the bluff of having a gun. In later discussions with him, he told me he did not feel threatened enough to exit the tent a second time to make the licking stop. He does not know when the licking stopped. He did not hear or remember whatever it was leave the area. He only knows when he exited the tent, whatever it was gone. He only knows he fell asleep and he did not feel threatened enough to exit the tent a second time. He further elaborates the next day he, quote, really looked hard, end quote, for tracks to find whatever it was in the camp. He searched, they searched. He looked at nearby bushes to try and find bear fur or anything that would indicate what it was. He emphasized he did not feel fear. He told me that he felt more fear hiking out through a large herd of elk and was concerned about the rut and bulls amongst the herd. If you read this letter, I have to decide if I should send the link below to the show. I'm nervous about that. However, we share the same date of birth. Go January 30th. Jeff can't fire Ben because I write this piece of truth and share it with the world. Not to mention, I'm his elder by a single year. Note to the ladies. Ladies, please never call your man's bluff. Just keep quiet and know he's trying to solve an awkward situation. Steve, one day I envision myself on your fishing boat and I pray this happens. Best. All right, man. Gotcha. Shared. No harm done in sharing that conversation. Nobody knows where you work, where you live, who you are. It's all good, man. We got you. You imagine something's licking the top of your tent and you think it's not a threat and you go back to sleep? Oh my God, said no one ever. Well, actually, no. Quite a few people just turned around and gone back to sleep while shit's going on outside. I don't get it. Or they just go pass out, fall asleep right after it all went down. Really weird, right? Really weird. I always jump out of the tent to the cabin. Always. In my underwear, barefoot, I don't give a shit. Grab a gun, I'm out there. I don't like being inside a confined area with something possibly about to go down outside. I don't like it. It's like, still the first memory comes up to my mind. I've shared it before. I was up in the Tatchinshini. You can Google that. Northwestern British Columbia, about as remote as you can get in BC, I think. Anyway, yeah, it's the middle of freaking nowhere. Real cool country. It looks like a woolly mammoth should come around the corner any time when you're in that country. And my buddy and I only brought a camera. He brought the gun. I was helping him. We're trying to get a doll ram for him, doll sheep, mountain sheep. And we're in that cabin. Just above tree line, so we're surrounded by willow brush and then rocks and alpine, big mountains around us. 9 o'clock at night, I'll never forget, 9, a little after 9, something shook the cabin. Full on shook the cabin. And it was kind of built on stilts and about 4 steps to get up into the door. And there was one window on that wall across from my bunk, which went this way. Buddy's bunk was under the window right there. Doors to the right. No window in the door. And he had a 338 Magnum, I think. Big gun. And I woke, and I shot out of my sleeping bag, but I'm looking out the window thinking, because it wasn't pitch black out, but it was as dark as it could be up that far north at that time of year. And I'm thinking, here we go. Yeah, because the window was probably 8 to 9 feet off the ground. Oh yeah, 8.5 to 9 feet to the top of the window for sure. And I'm thinking, here we go. What's gonna come across the window? Nothing. Dead silence. All right, I'm going up there. I grabbed his gun. He stayed in his sleeping bag. I kicked open the door and stood just inside the door. I looked around, both sides, around. Went down the stairs, put my back to the bush, look at the cabin, both walls. Nothing there. But he chalks it up as an earthquake. Then we hiked another day farther in. Stayed there farther in a few nights. Slept like a baby. Hiked back out, stayed at that cabin again just after 9 o'clock. The frickin' cabin shook again. What? That time I got real good adrenaline. Same thing, I grabbed the gun, kicked the door open, I went out there. Nothing there. Weird, right? Very weird. Actually, did it happen 2 nights in a row? No, we left. Camping back anyway. Go figure. We've had people reported being intense and getting intense pissed on. Licked. Hands pressing down on top of the tent. Hands pressing in the side of the tent, touching people's heads. People being grabbed by their ankles and dragged partway out the tent. And as well, numerous incidents of a huge, hairy head was in the tent looking at us. Gross, right? No thanks. Anyway, I guess that should cap off the video for today. What a pain in the ass yesterday, man. That sucked. I did some drone recording yesterday too. No fish. And I don't know if I mentioned, I think I mentioned earlier, I don't know, but while I'm that steep hike to get down in there because the old logging road on the other side of the valley is washed out. Can't drive up there anymore to those big falls, which is not too much of a bad thing, but if you know the way in from the other side, which I took you guys that hike down, straight down, all the way down. And I'll admit it right now, I got no shame in admitting it. The second I hit the bottom, it's real tight. You got to look up like this to see the top edge. Right in front of you. Because it's just straight down both sides to get to that, excuse me, that waterfall pool. So you feel very vulnerable down there, you know? It's a very, in all war and hunting, whoever's on top wins. Every time, right? And it's almost like you've got that as a back of your neck feeling. It's so vulnerable down there because no matter what happens, it's going to take you a big struggle of hands and feet climbing back up to get out of there. Not very quick either. It just sucks. So what I'm saying is, I can't help but start imagining what it would be like to be there, standing in that pool or a little further down, and all of a sudden, gaboosh! Monster frickin' boulders raining down from up there. Oh my God, would that suck. And every time I've gone there, I said it out loud. Leave me alone. I don't need any boulders landing near me right now. I'm good. Just leave me alone. Right? It's almost foolish not to say shit like that these days when you go out in the woods, knowing these truths. Right? These truths have been withheld from us. Anyway, so far so good, although last year I seen something huge and black in that logging cut. Just downriver, maybe. How far downriver would that have been? From where I'm standing in the video today, in the water. On the far side, the side I'm facing, up top in the logging cut, and then downriver about half a kilometer. I glanced up, first glimpse of light, little raining drizzle, the windshield wipers are going, glanced over, whoa, just like that, whoa. And it looked like a big black burnt stump or something way across the valley in that logging clear cut. And I actually droned the clear cut. I'll show it. If I can find it, I'll show. If I can get it to read that clip, I'll show it right here. And it was in the facing that clear cut. It was in the end, halfway up the clear cut, and it looked to be about a 10 or 12 foot tall, burnt stump snag at a glance from that distance, which was a long ways away. Long ways away. I looked down and thought, and it's right above where we were going. Steelhead had the dog, steelhead fishing below it. And I'm just like, oh, I'm not into that shit. And I'm not going back up there to see what that was either. I'm going fishing. Right? I'm going fishing. And went fishing, and again, that's when we hiked out. Ruby looked up the trees, went ape shit, and we heard the long howl from across the road. But anyway, I'll put that clip right here. So that's it for today. So tomorrow's going to be a cool one. I got a real cool guy from British Columbia coming on here sometime today. We're going to bullshit for a while. And apparently he's had some odd experiences in the woods while hunting as well. He's hunted all of his life. And I'm looking forward to this one. So that will be posted up tomorrow if all goes well. Share my story at howtohunt.com. Get it out. All right? Get that true knowledge out. Okay? Just do it. Change your name. I don't give a shit. Just get the true knowledge out in the open, please. Somehow. Through me, through somebody else, I don't give a shit. Just get it out. All right? I'll be back later.